Hello, my name is Emma Leavesley and I'm a family solicitor at Parfitt Cresswell. The family team at Parfitt Cresswell are seeing an increasing interest in people wishing to make prenuptial or post-nuptial agreements. A prenuptial agreement is effectively a contract or an agreement entered into by a couple prior to their marriage or civil partnership, the effect of which is to regulate the finances of the couple and make it clear effectively who gets what in the event that the couple chooses to divorce or dissolve their civil partnership. A post-nuptial agreement is very similar to a prenup, but the only difference is that it's made after the parties have married or entered into their civil partnership. People often choose post-nuptial agreements if they did not have sufficient time to enter into a prenup prior to their marriage, but they would still like to try and protect their assets. These agreements are often associated with wealthy or celebrity couples, but they are becoming increasingly popular for many people who wish to protect their individual wealth. There are many reasons why people would wish to enter into a prenuptial agreement, particularly if one party has more substantial individual assets that they want to keep out of the matrimonial pot of shared property. They would enter a prenup in order to try and protect those assets. If a marriage or civil partnership breaks down, then all of the parties' assets could potentially be divided on a 50-50 basis, which is why we see more interest in prenups. We commonly see an interest in pre- and post-nuptial agreements when parties enter into a second marriage or civil partnership. They are likely to be more established financially as individuals and will want to have more security and less exposure to risk. If a relationship does break down and the prenup has been properly prepared, it will be clear to the parties what their financial position will be upon the divorce. As 43% of first marriages now end in divorce after an average of an 11-year marriage, a lot of people believe that they are the best solution to try and protect their individual wealth. A lot of people do consider these prenuptial agreements to be unromantic, but we encourage our clients to view them almost as an insurance policy. When you buy house insurance, you don't intend for your house to burn down, but you always seek to protect yourself against this risk, and this is the policy that we consider is appropriate to prenups. What surprises a lot of people is that prenups and post-nuptial agreements are actually not legally binding in England and Wales. They can, however, be given a lot of weight on helping the court decide on whether to follow its terms, but the courts still have the ultimate power to overturn the agreement if they do not consider it to be fair. There was a landmark case of Radmacher and Granatano, which had a lot of press coverage in 2011. The wife was German and the husband was French, and they had a signed prenuptial agreement valid under German law, but they were divorcing in the UK. On appeal, the original decision was not to follow the prenup. The Supreme Court agreed that the prenup could be followed. The case has not changed the law, but has changed the way that the courts will look at prenuptial agreements. The courts will look at each individual case to decide whether the prenup should be followed, and they will consider the following. Firstly, whether both parties have been upfront as to their true financial positions. Secondly, whether the agreement was entered into in good time before the wedding, ideally 6 weeks before and no less than 21 days before the wedding. They will consider whether there's been any undue influence or duress on either party. They'll also consider whether the parties have taken legal advice, or whether there have been any events or circumstances which could have caused a change to the relationship, such as the birth of a child. We recommend that if such event happens, then they will need to be reviewed regularly. A well-drafted prenup or postnup will usually contain clauses to take into account such changes and agree to periodically review the agreement. We would recommend that in order to keep the pre- or postnup effective and to increase the chance of the court following it upon divorce, then it should be regularly reviewed. The family team at Parfitt Cresswell regularly monitor the law relating to pre- and post-nuptial agreements, and if you need any advice or would like any assistance in trying to agree to one of these nuptial agreements with your partner, then we are more than happy to help and advise you. If you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact us either by email or at family@parfittcresswell.com or call 01753 271 640.